Hello boys and girls, it's story time. I thought I would try to put together a little short story for you about a man who builds boats. Now I know you've heard, or many of you have heard, my little boat analogy that every now and then I resurrect it because I think it's kind of a good analogy. The whole idea of Adam and Eve being punished for listening to the serpent and eating of the fruit, getting cast out of Eden. Adam and Eve being punished for that, when in fact God made them the way He did. He made them so that they were vulnerable. He made them so that they would fail because He knew ahead of time that they would. He made them flawed so that they weren't impervious to the snake's tempting words. He made them flawed because they were so gullible. They didn't know any better. He made them flawed. If they were made perfect, they never would have failed. They never would have succumbed to the serpent. They never would have needed to be punished because there never would have been a thing to be punished for. And who made them flawed? Who made them so that they would fail? Deliberately, because He knew ahead of time how it would go down. I mean, why else would He put that together? Why else would He turn His back and walk away and act like nothing was happening, you know? So I made this analogy about a man who built a boat. And he built this boat. He made the boat absolutely perfect, except it had a hole in it. The man put it on the water and the boat sank. And the man got very angry because the boat sank, and he hauled it out of the water, and he took up his axe and he broke it into pieces because the boat sank. It didn't flow. It didn't do what it was supposed to do. So he punished it. And yet it sank because it had a hole in it, and he made it deliberately with a hole in it. So why is the boat being punished for having a hole in it and sinking when the boatsmith is the one who made the boat with the hole in it? That's my boat analogy. I think it's very... that's what I think of when I hear the Adam and Eve story. It makes no sense to me that no fair and honest and, you know, it doesn't make sense to me that a just God would do this. Of course, I don't believe in a God anyway. So I decided to expand upon my little boat story. I don't know. I just felt like writing. I haven't written for a while. This is really crappy writing. Don't think this is my writing because it isn't. It's just, I just wrote it. It's cold. It's just the first draft. But I was just trying to expand upon my little boat story just to see where it went. And I thought I would share it with you. Once upon a time, there lived a man who knew in his heart he could make the perfect boat. And so he went to work building. His neighbors all knew him to be very smart. Some even said he was all-knowing. So when they learned he was making this boat, they knew it would be wonderful. The best boat ever. Weeks passed, and at last the boat was done. How the neighbors oohed and awed when the boat's creator proudly pushed it from the shore. Everyone gathered around to watch the boat bob gently on the top of the waves. But then, to their surprise and dismay, the boat began to sink. "It's sinking!" one neighbor exclaimed. "That's impossible," said its builder. "I built it. I cannot build anything that isn't perfect." But another neighbor broke off, for by now the entire bow of the little boat was under water. "Why!" The builder of the boat sprang into the water and grabbed the top of the bow, still in view. With strength born of rage, he heaved the front section of the boat back into view, and half carried, half dragged it from the water. "Look here!" exclaimed his neighbor. "It has a big hole in the side. See? Look here!" "That's not a hole," said the boatsmith. "I don't make things with holes. Everything I make is perfect." "Well," said his other neighbor, laughing, "it looks like a hole to me. That's big enough I can put my fist right through it. See?" The boatsmith said nothing. He hefted an axe from his bag, and all his neighbors leaped back, for he had a known temper. But the man ignored them and advanced on the little boat. "You have failed me," he shouted. "Defied me. This is what you get for not being what I made you to be." And then he swung, cursed and swung. Bits of wood flew into the air, and the neighbors around him watched and scratched their heads. "It's not the boat's fault," said the first neighbor. "You made it with a hole. How can you expect a boat like that to be seaworthy?" "It has free will," shouted the boatsmith. "It could have chosen not to sink, but it did not. You all saw it." Again and again he flailed with his axe. "It deliberately defied me." The neighbors were silent. Finally the boat was nothing more than boards scattered on the beach. "So," the boatsmith said, "you have all ordered boats from me, have you not?" He was still wielding the axe, as all the neighbors saw. "I take it you will not break your oath with me." "No!" they chimed together as one. "We would never do that." "Good." The boatsmith lowered his axe. "I have a nice wooden paste I'll sell you all for extra. If you apply the paste to the hole before each sailing, you'll find your perfect boat will sail perfectly for you every time. No one else makes this paste, mind, and if you do not keep applying it liberally every day, it will sink with you in it and you will die." How much is this paste?" one neighbor asked. "Not much," said the boatsmith. "No more than the cost of the boat." "The cost of the boat!" Again the neighbors spoke as one, their gazes locked on the head of the axe at the boatsmith's feet. The boatsmith lifted an eyebrow at them. "That's not too much to ask, is it? You're getting the perfect boat that you wanted, aren't you?" "No." His neighbors were shaking their heads. "It's not too much to ask." "What's more," said the boatsmith, "from now on all your children will be born owing me money for the paste to keep their boats seaworthy too, for I trust they will likewise carry on the contract in your stead, they and all their children's children." One neighbor stared at his own feet, tears leaking down his face. "I'm so poor already," he said sadly. "Why couldn't you just have made the boat perfect to start with, so all of us wouldn't have to keep paying you like this?" The boatsmith chuckled, but there was no humor in it. "But I did. You're just not wise enough to see it. All the boats are perfect, made exactly according to my plans."